Our cameras go on board the Royal Yacht Britannia, now moored by Tower Bridge.
For almost 45 years, she served as a floating royal palace, a global business centre, and a family refuge away from the permanent scrutiny of public life. Her Majesty's Yacht Britannia hosted kings, queens, presidents and prime ministers, while the crew ensured everything ran to perfection, above and below decks.
Rear entrance to the engine room.
Former engineer Rushy, everyone has a nickname in the Royal Navy of course, is showing us around.
And here we are inside the mechanical palace of the Royal Yacht, because although she was a floating palace for the royal family, this was our cathedral down here.
The engines haven't run for years, but when they did, nothing was left to chance, as the order came down from the bridge to set sail.
If I had a loo ball failure, and we're waiting for a telephone call from the bridge that says, obey them. You know, at that point, the royal family are on board, and she's just about 30 foot up there. You cannot imagine that feeling. You can't see her, but the feeling of all of a sudden, the responsibility now for the safety and security of the royal family has come within this family. So we were really, I was the Queen's chauffeur, without eyes. I just did what the bridge told me, but we got her to the church on time. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And of all the gauges, dials and warning lights, Rushy reckons this instrument, the inclinometer, that says if the ship is level, is the most important in the engine room, especially challenging when guests gathered on one side of the ship to watch the Royal Marines band.
All these people are at a cocktail party, so when they go on the upper deck, each and every one of them is a spirit level.
Right.
Because they've got a glass. So you can't afford them to put it down. Even Her Majesty's got a glass.
Hang on a second.
So you can't bluff it.
Yeah.
If you're not perpendicular, everyone will know.
In the state dining room, these days available for hire and laid up for a dinner, we find former steward Peter Borord. It's not that he works here anymore, but he just can't resist making sure everything is shipshape. He recalls how the crew, known as yachties, would have to set up and dismantle functions in a matter of minutes.
So you had to bring the furniture down and pass the stairs, and 9 times out of 10 the Queen always used to, when I was there, would sit on the stairs after a long evening and go, and then talk to a lady in waiting, and it was quite fun. And many a time I had to ask her, excuse Your Majesty, would you mind moving? I have to bring the chairs down. Oh, am I in the way? Yes. And it was that sort of rapport you had. But within 20 minutes, it'd be all back in the right place, ready to start again.
Keeping the crew fit and healthy were the cooks, the medics and the PTI, the physical training instructor. George Crozer explains how they made the most of the limited space with an ingenious take on tug-of-war.
There would be a team here, which is the port side, and you'd have the rope which would be laying up here.
Right.
And then it would go round the capstan, here,
Okay.
across here to the capstan, and then down here you'd have the opposition.
So they'd be sort of next to each other.
Yeah, so you're throwing abuse at each other from the other side.
The Queen once described the Royal Yacht as a place where she could truly relax, and at the decommissioning in 1997 seemed visibly upset. Since then, Britannia was brought here to Leith near Edinburgh to become a tourist attraction. So now, the Royal Yacht that once took Britain to the rest of the world has visitors from around the world coming to Britannia.
We didn't work in her, but we helped them out occasionally.
Did you?
Yeah. So,
Didn't let them use your best knives, though. I know what chefs are like.
I did stand at the stable door and watch what was going on, just to learn things.
Yeah.
You know, from the chefs those days, and we had a good rapport with them as well. It was good. We had you know, runs ashore. They'd join us, and when they could. And they'd come up the rec space and have a few beers.